Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I There's something Kina is doing. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Founders Conversation, July edition, whose theme is Lead Yourself First, Unlocking the Power of Personal Leadership. Before you lead others, you must lead yourself. This month, we are focusing on mindset, self discipline, and the emotional intelligence required to sustain momentum, make bold decisions, and show up consistently, personally and professionally. My name is Kathy Karaoke, coordinator with Founders Profit Academy, FPA, which is a community within the SME Founders Association. At FPA, we help businesses grow, scale, and thrive through our specialized coaching framework. In my role, I support our licensed training coaching programs where we provide the tools and support entrepreneurs to reach their full potential. Today, we are excited to dive into a critical topic for SMEs, the Rhythm Reset, a ritual based framework for fulfillment and impact. Live on purpose with purpose. This framework helps you align your everyday rhythms, rituals with meaningful results anchored in your life roles and your sense of responsibilities. So, before we start on that, I would like to give you a recap of our last week's session, which was on Lead Yourself First, Unlocking the Power of Personal Leadership. Discover how understanding your choices are best to lead you to communicate and build authentic relationships. So, one of the things our speaker took us through was on foundational awareness. As a founder, keep in mind what you're saying based on your audience, what you want to achieve, and how they might benefit from your presence. Choose how you show up, portraying your authentic self. Then the second one we touched on was on emotional intelligence. Practice to listen more than to speak, and remember that your feelings are our signposts. Then remember that people are also your biggest test. Then the third thing the speaker also mentioned to us, as you move from impact, look at what's possible based on the twins of impact, that is the self-awareness and what the world needs. Focus on being transformative and not performative. So I'm thrilled to introduce to you today our speaker, Frida Owinga. So let me take you through her bio. Today, we are honored to be guided by a woman who embodies the spirit of transformative leadership, having empowered more than 12,000 people with essential tools, networks, and access to markets. Frida Owinga is not just a seasoned entrepreneur with over 2 decades of experience. She is a movement builder, a thought leader, and a relentless champion for small and medium enterprise owners across Africa. As the visionary founder of the SME Founders Association, Frida has created a thriving ecosystem of mentorship, collaboration, and advocacy where business owners are not only supported but empowered to scale beyond borders. Through her powerhouse company, Passion Profit, she delivers enterprise and leadership development solutions that challenge the norm and ignite purpose driven performance. Frida's approach isn't just theoretical, it's practical, bold, and deeply human. Her work reshapes paradigms, inspires clarity of vision, and fuels the kind of action that transforms both organizations and individuals. Whether you are starting out or scaling new heights, Frida helps leaders rise, step into their courage, and build legacies that matter. Please welcome the dynamic, passionate, and empowering Frida Owinga.
Good morning.
Good morning, Frida. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Also well.
Wonderful.
So today's conversation is going to be quite interesting. Seeing that even the way the title is reading, the rhythm reset, a ritual-based framework for fulfillment and impact. Live on purpose with purpose. So probably you can guide us first on what inspired this concept of rhythm reset framework.
Thank you very much, Kathy. When we started this journey, we were going to talk about stacking habits. And as I continue to look at stacking habits and just what I naturally do to produce results, I noticed that habits are individual actions, things we do repeatedly, often unconsciously. However, when we talk about a rhythm is an intentional pattern that brings flow, balance, and alignment to your life. One word you'll often hear me use is alignment. So, habit is just something you're doing, whether you like it or not. But as human beings, we are human beings, not human doings. All right. So, we need to be conscious to make adjustments and do what is reasonable for that time, for that season, depending on the result that we want to get. Talking about a rhythm helps one to be more conscious of what they're doing and what they're becoming, so they're not just doing things for the purpose of doing. All right. So habit focuses on productivity, while rhythms honor our humanity. It honors, I don't feel like waking up today. I don't feel like doing that right now. But what can I do instead that will still help me get the results that I need to get? So I'm not just being mechanical about it. So rhythms allow us room to reflect. They allow us room to rest because sometimes you're tired, but you just keep pushing yourself. And then they also allow us to respond ably. I find that when we think about words, then we are more and we are conscious about the result we want, then we're even able to tweak words to suit what we need to achieve. I find as humanity, we have become so mechanical and so copycatty that we don't really do what we are supposed to do to become who we want to become. I don't know if that makes sense, but reading allows reflection, it allows us to rest, it allows us to be
Respond.
to better to respond more ably. Don't like that responsibility word, but there we go. So they help us build a life that we enjoy. You get
Yeah.
sometimes we eat the same food every day. Today I don't feel like eating that food. Some people will feel guilty for buying something else or eating something better. No, your emotion is telling you that this is something that will refresh you, that will make you feel better. So I prefer rhythms over habits. Thank you.
Mm. I like the way you've put it. The three R's which we are going to remember also with rhythm in reflect, rest, and respond.
Yes.
So I think probably you can unpack now the framework for our listeners. Will you give us an example, maybe using how a founder operates, probably?
And I want us to just think of first human beings, because a founder is first a human being before they're a founder. So when you want to think of your rhythm, you want to start with the end in mind. Steve Covey told us in his book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, always start with the end in mind. And starting with the end in mind, what results do you want to achieve? We are taught to think of results in terms of money. So I just want us to think back on results in terms of outcomes, okay? As a human being, what would bring you peace? What would bring you pride? What would bring you progress? So it's very different from thinking of how much money should you make, how many clients should you get. If I want peace of mind, I'll need to have money. I'll need to have better relationships. So I'd like us to change the way we think to that. So, number one, what would bring you peace? What would bring you pride? What would bring you progress in the next 12 months? We also need to pace ourselves knowing that life is like a seed. Results are like seeds. Life is a harvest of seeds we have sown. All right. Seeds we have sown, we have watered, and then we get a harvest. So if you're saying in the next 12 months, I want more peace, I want to have pride in what I'm doing, or I want this kind of progress, then we look at what are the areas of life that we normally
Mhm.
focus on. We focus on finances, a very big part of our life, and there's nothing
Yes.
wrong with that, because finances gives us the options that we want, and finances is the core relationship with other human beings on earth. How you earn, how you contribute, how you earn is based on your finances. How much money you have is dependent on the peace of mind you're going to have, and the options that you're going to choose. So the next thing is, another guiding area is your emotional being. In your emotional being, who is in your support network? And in your I say your support and success network, because every human being has weaknesses and every human being has strengths. So John Maxwell encourages us to strengthen our strengths, all right, and to find support in areas of weakness. So first, when you know what you want to achieve financially, what are the things that you'll need to do? How are you going to spend your time? How are you going to contribute value to humanity? Then you look at who will I need in the spaces that I can't do it myself. For instance, right now we are having this live stream. This live stream is you and I that people can see, but behind there's somebody who set up the live stream. There's somebody who did the flyer. There's somebody who did the what else did somebody? What are the other things somebody did?
So, somebody who's also shared it into our networks.
Somebody shared it into our networks. All right, so the people who did the flyer, the link, sharing it on the network, you who's going to be asking me questions to deliver the message, that is my support network. My success network is somebody who teaches me to be stronger in the areas that I'm good. People who help me speak better, people who help me enhance my leadership, conversations, and skills. Those are the people who are in my success network, people like coaches, people like mentors. All right. So
Yeah.
financially, and then emotionally, and then mentally, we often talk about what do we talk about lately a lot about mental wellness. All right. When we're
Yeah,
talking about
mental
mental
illness.
wellness, again, we're thinking about what are our thoughts, what is our self-talk. It will go back to relationships. How are our relationships? Because our relationships can make or break our mental wellness. And then spiritual, which we don't talk a lot about, yet we are fast spiritual beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Do you have core beliefs? All right. And do you have core practices that actually help your spirituality? We see people talking more today about meditating, being quiet, breathing exercises, a lot of practices that get our rhythm back to connect with a higher being. Some say a higher being, I say God, I say the Holy Spirit. So you can define who's your higher being, where do you get your essence from, and how do you measure the results around that? How do you measure your growth in that area? Then you create your rhythm for that. And finally, professionally, Professionally, are you growing? One way to know you are growing is you're doing things that stretch you. When you're asked to do something and you feel uncomfortable, but say yes anyway, you're going to grow. When you're asked to do something, you feel uncomfortable and refuse to do it, you're going to stay in the same space that you are.
Mm.
When we talk about starting with the end in mind, what are the results that you want to achieve? And you can frame them in those five. I mentioned five: financial, emotional, mental, spiritual, and professional. And it depends on you. You don't have to put yourself in that box. You know the results that you want to get. You can decide the pillars that you're going to design your rhythms upon. Back to you.
That one is quite packed. We've learned something. Thank you for that. So, when you've mentioned for us with the end in mind, probably you can help us identify the difference between the surface goals and meaningful results.
Okay. So surface goals is I want more money. Meaningful results is I'd like to make 120,000 more this year so that I can save up for my school fees. Or why do you want the 120,000? So Steve Covey tells us start with the end in mind, and Sinek says have a strong why. Okay, so a surface goal is not clear. It does not have a timeline. You cannot measure it. I want more money. If I give you 10 shillings right now, will it not be more money? That's
Yes.
not a, yeah.
I'll say for now yes, because I'll say I wanted money, so you've given me money. That's hence the yes giving me now
And you
the
wanted more.
yeah.
Even if you had 1 billion shillings and I give you 10 shillings and I give you 100 shillings, it is still more. But you see,
Yeah.
even you are hesitating because it is not the amount you wanted. So, what
Yeah.
stops us from putting the amount on that surface goal? Sometimes it is fear, most times it is fear, all right, which creates a lack of confidence. Just me, where will I get
Mhm.
1 million more? You understand? So be courageous and confident
Yeah.
enough to to identify exactly what you want and why. Actually, the right word is articulate what you want and why. All right. When I say I need 120,000 more, you can see the thought behind that is 10,000 more every month. And 10,000 more every month, if you break it down, you'll have 2,500 every week. Then you can even ask yourself, what do I need to do to get 2,500 every week? So you can hold yourself accountable, because what you can't measure, you can't improve. And you may never get also. I hope that makes sense. I hope that answers your question.
No, but I like the way you've broken it down just now, because I think we find many times when you ask the entrepreneur, so why you started the business actually. So people obviously first thing surface. I wanted to make more money. I I felt that I can make more than where I was probably under employment. I saw the opportunity and I thought I would go ahead. But now when you come down to ask them probably a few years later, then they realize, oh, that wasn't a very good way to start it off then.
And you see, there's nothing right or wrong about saying I started because I want more money. The only thing that gives it more impact is saying I used to earn 50,000. And we may not talk like that when we're just having an ordinary conversation, but when we
Yeah.
are planning our lives, if we are not more articulate, then we are not going to get very articulated results. That's all I'm trying to emphasize here. So I'm earning 500,000, but it's not enough for my obligations. I want to earn 600,000. All right.
Yeah.
600,000, that's 100,000 more. So I'm going to leave my 500,000 job so that I can, in fact, I don't need to leave my 500,000 job. I need to first ask, do I have time to generate 100,000 more? Okay. So that if I want 600, I don't leave 500 and then go and start from scratch to make 600. Have I confused you? Have I?
No, 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 not at all. I like what you have told us. It's the articulation, and I think you also tell us in our spaces. It's the words we use, the words we use to speak. We need to be kind to ourselves as we speak to others as well.
Absolutely. And it just takes being conscious. I find that people want to be empathetic and vulnerable and all these wonderful words we use nowadays, but it is not an intrinsic thing. It is something they're doing to help or impress somebody outside them. What if they did that for themselves? Would if you
Mm.
start with you, you're going to do better for others because you cannot give others what you can't give yourself. So to sijidanganye, let's not cheat ourselves.
Wow, what profound.
If we're going to set a rhythm, so whether you want to call it habit starting or you want to call it rituals or you want to call it rhythm, the only reason I like rhythm is because it has a sense of flow and it gives me the permission to reflect, is this the right time to do this thing without feeling blocked that I have to work 8 to 5, I need to
Mm.
eat lunch at 1 o'clock. Who said? I need ask any Kenyan who owes you money when they're going to pay you, they'll tell you at the end of the month. Why? Because people are paid at the end of the month. This person promising you at the end of the month does not even have a job. So, what is the basis of that end of the month? It is just something we say. So, my goal is to get people to become more conscious about the results they want to achieve. All right?
Yeah.
How you respond, how you show up, will all that will make a difference. Because I can't tell you end of the month and I know I don't have a paycheck at the end of the month. Maybe I work contractually and paid every week. So I can tell you after 2 weeks. Our answers that should not all be the same. That's all I'm trying to say. There's a fault somewhere there.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I think one of the things when I initially met you, you actually mentioned it somewhere. So that's I'm recalling the conversation and it has tickled me a
What
bit.
did I mention?
You actually the way you have actually put it out, you find it so interesting how when you ask people about the money, when it comes to money and either to pay anything, it was for one of the coaching units you wanted to start off at SFA, and you actually put it out. I'm sure when people start saying they want to be at the end of the month, and I don't see why that is always something to hold you back, as you have actually aptly put it. Because you can pay for their course weekly, you can pay for their course bi-monthly, um, but we always give that answer of until the end of the month. So
Technically, you should pay for it based on how your income comes. But if you don't have a fixed plan of how you make income, then you're going to answer the answer everybody gives. And if you're answering the answer everybody gives, then you're just in groupthink. Why do we
mm,
have all this groupthink?
mm,
Even entrepreneurs, there are mama mbogas who make money every day. They will tell you,
yeah,
kuja jioni. Even the loan shark knows they will come for their money at the end of the day. They, I like mama mbogas because they think about what they're doing. They'll go to the market, buy exactly what they need to buy and they'll make X amount of profit on it. X
yeah,
amount will go for the house, X amount will be put to get food tomorrow. All these fancy speaking entrepreneurs, little rhythms like that, Hatuna, you just want to speak big grammar, profit and loss, balance sheet. No, Mama Boga does this thing every day. She will tell you at the end of the week, no, in fact, at the end of the day, she's going to be putting 50 shillings inside the chama. All right. And at the end of the month, she can get access to capital to grow her business. Life is not as difficult as we make it to be.
For sure. We need to uncomplicate our lives.
Okay.
Now that you have actually mentioned one of the roles there, so maybe you can help us understand um, the different roles that we actually play, either as a child, as a sibling, as a leader, or income generator. Why is this so foundational to the framework?
That's a great question, Karthik. Um, how many are you in your family?
We are five girls.
Oh, fantastic. And your number?
Number one,
Your number one. Are your parents still alive?
my mom is.
Your mom, praise God. My parents are both gone.
Mhm.
So now that you're the firstborn and your mom is alive, how many roles do you see in that space, in that relational space?
There's the almost like a confidant to her, support her.
Okay,
Now that
support to your mom.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
support emotionally, just especially now that dad is not there. You sort of you cheer her on.
Okay,
Then of course there's the a daughter,
okay,
almost a reflection of herself, of her life, of her legacy,
okay,
through of course marriage and the in-laws, the extended family on the other side.
okay,
Then of course a child.
okay.
What else do we see? Oh, I
So
think
daughter and child take the same space, and then you're a sister. So as a daughter, you say you want to support your mom initially because your dad is not there. The
mhm.
truth of it, you will never support her emotionally as your dad. But as a daughter, there are things that you can do. What are some things you can do for her as a daughter?
Definitely call her, build up a friendship.
Call her, have a friendship with her, send her M-Pesa every now and then. I think that will make her happy.
Yeah, definitely see her face to face.
See her face to face. And what will be the result of that?
Oh, we crack up because I am quite a jolly person, so it fills her with joy, gratitude, and just giving her that mental peace that I've come to see her. I've taken time out of my life to actually come and see her and spend time with her.
It will create a stronger bond. Don't you
Yes.
think so? So, when you're thinking of your mom and you're thinking of how to bond more with my mom, all right, or to
Yeah.
have a stronger bond with mom. So,
Yeah.
remember, you are asking about the surface goals and the more meaningful goals.
Yes.
So you're not just calling your mom because you're feeling guilty. You're calling your mom because you want to have a stronger bond. And if you want to have a stronger bond with your mom, you're going to get into a rhythm. I call her on Sundays at 4 p.m. Or I do this or the other. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
So it's not just a mechanical, I haven't called mom this week, but it's an intentional speaking with her, getting to understand what she likes, not just sending her flowers. If you're my daughter and you sent me flowers, God help you. You don't know me. I don't like flowers. You get, but you see, this talking, you'll begin to understand with her. Is it money she needs? Is it pampering she needs? And what kind
Mm.
of pampering makes sense for her? So it's more meaningful when you say bonding with mom. Because when you want a stronger bond with mom, you're paying attention to what mom likes and getting in a rhythm to do those things for her or to do those things with her. And then you look at sister. You have four sisters. I have two. All right. One lives abroad and one lives here. We don't talk to each other every day, but we almost send each other a message every day. Especially now that you have WhatsApp, it may just be a wave, it may be a smiley, it may be a silly TikTok or something, but that is how we stay engaged. And then when one needs, the three of us, when any one of us needs a kind of support, it makes it easier for us to ask because we've created a safe space for us to talk about anything and everything. We are bonded, but it didn't happen overnight. It happened with us paying attention to how often we speak, how often we do.
Mm.
How are you this week? Are you okay? Those kinds of things, and then listening. I was speaking to one, and she had a new job, and she appeared, and she had a new job, and she was not comfortable with that job. And I asked her, what is the one thing that could make this job more pleasurable for you? She
Mhm.
said she had she thinks the shoes she has are not good for that job. And I said, what kind of shoes would you want? And she told me the kind of shoes she'd want. And she said how much it would cost. And I sent her the money, and she got the shoes, and she was very excited that, 1 or 2 days after, she was telling me, in fact, now she feels much better at the job and everything. So you see, just paying attention that she had disappeared, our rhythm of her sending me an emoji or a TikTok was not there. So I checked in, and it was a more meaningful result.
Mm. I like that. I like that. I like the way you've actually put it. I know one or two of my sisters are actually watching this, so so let me give them a shout and tell them yes, they're very intentional the way you have put it, and I like the way you've used the example to actually break it down because many times, as you have said, we are fast human beings. We become very mechanical in even the way we relate to one another, even those close to us. And it ends up pouring out to those around us as employees and even our suppliers and our customers. And we find it very difficult to navigate these different relationships, and we struggle as a person and as an individual. And you find someone actually wearing out, and we fail to understand it. Well, that was the core. We didn't get it right then. So it ended up oscillating and growing until it ends up shriveling your soul. So
God
powerful,
forbid you should get there.
but
That's why I
powerful.
like, when you talk about rhythm, is you're conscious, all right? You're conscious how you're feeling. Last week we were talking about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, we tend to talk about, I find that we talk about emotional intelligence in a way that labels people who get angry.
Mhm.
Now, by the time somebody gets to that stage, they have not been conscious into what triggers them, what annoys them, and they have not had a communication, or they have had a communication with people. This is, you should do this like this, or do this like this, and then people don't do it like that and still expect this person to keep smiling. It just blows up the whole thing. But you see, if you're conscious about how you're feeling, it will determine how you respond to that feeling, because that feeling is a signal. You're feeling tired. Do you need
Mm.
to rest? Do you need to eat? Do you need to restore yourself? What do you need? Many times, I'm tired, but I have to keep on. I have to meet this deadline. All right. So you
Yeah.
rush, rush, rush to meet the deadline. You're doing it on empty. It doesn't come out well. Whereas if you just took 10, 15 minutes break, walked, or just lay down, because it refreshing is different for different people. Some people will walk, some people want to do something that will make them sweat, some people want to lie down. So lying down makes people feel lazy. Oh, how can you lie down in the middle of the day? That is laziness. Who said that is the way my energy works? So your energy works for running. One of my sisters, for her to refill her cup, she runs. And I'm like, are you
Mm.
mad? You're tired and you want to run. It doesn't work for me. And we have reached peace that for her, she will run. Me, I need to take a nap. And we'll meet when everybody has refreshed, and it's okay. So we need to be conscious and allow ourselves to reflect and see, this is what works for me, this is what works for Kathy, and it's all right. But we must know what works for us, because we cannot give what we don't have. And for us, super consultants, motivational speakers, we must share the options and allow our
Mm.
listeners to choose. And our listeners, you must not go and do exactly what I have said without trying. Go and try it. If it works for you, fly. If it doesn't work for you, try another motivational speaker until you find what works for you. Just like we go to different churches. We go to this church, you like how the pastor preaches, you stay. You go to this one, you don't like, you go. It's all right. I find that life has compacted us so much that we're not allowed to make changes. So we have
Mm.
to stay in little tight boxes by ourselves. No. Pay attention to how you're feeling, what can make you feel better, and why do you want to feel better? When you feel better, you show up better. When you show up better, there's more good that will go around the world.
Very good. Now that you have taken us through that one, now tell us one or two personal rituals that keep you grounded or focused.
Taking naps. Okay, let me be serious. One is the time of day that I wake up and then paying attention to how I feel. Before, I never used to be pay as much attention as I do now. So now I pay attention to how I feel, I pay attention to my schedule. And I'll explain that. As a speaker, I'm a speaker, but I'm an introverted speaker. I know that I don't do well with a lot of people, and I've made peace with that. I like to be by myself. I like to work from home. All right. So I know that, but I can't just sit in my little cocoon all day, all the while, because I'm here to change the world. So I know that when I'm going to be with lots of crowds, I step back. You know, we have a program that happens every second Tuesday and fourth Tuesday of the month. So the Monday before that Tuesday, I spend alone. And I spend alone. I make sure I've eaten enough. I am refreshed. I take a walk so that when I come, I am filled up. If I have a meeting where I'm speaking 2 days, I'm doing a training 2 or 3 days back to back, when I come home, I step back. I eat what I like. I rest more. I take a walk so that I fill up before I get out again. So paying that, and that's why I'm saying taking naps. So sometimes it involves taking a nap. All right. And paying attention, for me, paying attention to my rest is very critical. And my rest is ensuring that one, I have 8 hours of sleep. It doesn't have to be 8 hours of sleep. I sleep at 9. When I sleep at 9, I wake up at 4. And it's not that I put an alarm. My head, because it's a habit I've gotten into, so I often wake up at 4. And at 4, I'm fresh. All right. I'll do my quiet time. I'll do some reflective time, and then I'll get working. At that time, my mind is fresh. I have ideas. I have inspirations. I get all my work done before the world wakes up at 8. Then I'll do quiet time. And quiet time doesn't mean just focusing on God. Quiet time means no phone, no computer, nothing. My meetings will start from 10 o'clock. So I always have on my calendar between 9 and 10 focus, between hours of waking up, 7 and 10 focus time. There are many people who like to have meetings at 7:30, 7 a.m. and 7:30. I'm not those people because that is my most productive time. I don't want to spend it talking with other people. So I don't take those. I respect them, but according to my rhythm, I don't take them. So if you hear me, don't say Frida said don't take meetings before 7. No. Find out when is your most productive time, when is your high energy, when do you have highest energy, when do you focus and do great work. Make sure that that time you spend alone. And then the next time is when you now start booking appointments. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, in fact, you've reminded me of one of one of my leadership coaches. So he would take us through the leadership workshops, and then we have to ask him. So, what do you do when you get home? And surprisingly, he told us, when I get home, I don't talk to anyone. I just drop down my bag and my laptop, and I just go fast to go and sleep. So we looked at him, told him, "What do you mean you go to sleep?" I go and sleep. I have to sleep for 1 full hour or 45 minutes. Then now I come down. I'm ready to say hi to my son. I'm ready to talk to my wife, and then I catch up. And we found out so weird. Told him, how? How do you do that? He said, it's just natural. I just have to flop off So thank you for that. Very interesting.
I like that because he or she, your leadership coach, has discovered what works for him or her. When we discover what works for us and we practice that, then we show up better, we show up stronger, and we
Mm,
impact more. But
mm,
oftentimes, it's like we're showing up for to impress, not to impact.
mm.
Story for
Shame.
another day.
I think that's a very good one. That's a good punch. Keeping up, showing to. Please repeat it for me.
You keep up, first be conscious to know yourself. So when you're showing up, you're not showing up to impress, you're showing up to impact. And to show up to impact means you are rested, you have thought through what you want. The the first title I had was great, but I felt no, I don't just want to help people get another habit. Maybe I'm getting you to get a habit of paying attention to yourself. All right. I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about discipline. I want to talk about you being more conscious of yourself. What makes you feel good so that you can do good and make more impact?
Mm. So let me move on to our call to the community. Tell us more about the Founders Network. How does being part of a support and success network amplify the impact of this kind of inner work? And then probably you can also give us an example of the transformations that you have seen of those who have committed to this framework within the community.
Thank you very much for that question, Kathy. I'll answer one of it because this is a framework that I've just recently created. So it's not a framework I've used at the Founders Network. However, at the Founders Network is part of the SME Founders Association. SME Founders Association has 5 communities. It has the Founders Network. As a founder, you can join and become a partner. When you become a partner, you pay 5,000 a year to become a partner, and then you can network with other founders. Now, I find when we say you can network with other founders, founders want to network, but they're not committed to doing the work of the network. Like we have the partners in a group, their activities they're supposed to do on Tuesday and on Thursday, they don't always do those activities. They say we want to meet physically and we set up physical meetings. They don't show up for the physical meeting. So we are not very sure what they want, but the first community is partners. You become a you become a partner in the founders network. On Tuesday, you have an opportunity to share a tip in the kind of work and business that you do. What problems do you solve? And then on Thursday, you have the opportunity for visibility and share any special offer you might have in your community. And then every now and then we have physical events. They're announced in the WhatsApp group. If you are able to come, you come and we have fun together. Then we have the Business Dialogues community, which is the most dynamic community right now, where we are supporting professionals and entrepreneurs to communicate to enhance their communication, their leadership competence, and their time management skills. We start at 6 and end at 8, and it has a Toastmasters curriculum that you follow. So we did not reinvent the wheel, and you can do that. You can do that yourself. You can do that yourself for every 6 months. All right. I see Kathy has disappeared. Well, so there's the Founders Network, there's the Business Dialogues, which is the Toastmasters Club, and then there's the licensed teacher, the licensed training coaches, which is done through the Founders Profit Academy. They're right now on recession. They may start back up in September, where you can get licensed to teach a proprietary material, grow, scale, and thrive. Then the fourth one is the Young Global Workforce Alliance, where we help young people. We help young people to understand how to work today. And work does not mean getting employed. Work means working for yourself or working for another. What are the skills and traits that you need to have so that you can join a global workforce and not be stuck looking for money? So that is what we do at the SME Founders Association. It's all on our website, www.smefoundersassociation.com. Right now, I'm here. I don't know whether this is still going on or not. And that is the fun thing about our mentorship space. So if you're still watching, we've come to the end of this session for today. If you're watching the recording, my name is Frida Owinga. I'm a leadership and enterprise development professional. I'm also the founder of SME Founders Association. And this whole month, we're talking about leadership, self-leadership, how to be self-aware so that you can make more impact in whichever area that you are. Whether you are I like Gino Sewe is saying something, running works for me as well. Your sister is my twin. Running does not work for me. So it has been great having this conversation with Kathy this morning, and it has been great engaging you. I'll check the LinkedIn to see if you have any comments. You can follow us, SME Founders Association. You can follow me, Frida Owinga, and let's keep engaging. Be willing to do something different that helps you feel good so that you can be good to the world and create greater good in this world. Thank you very much today, and have a fantastic rest of the week. Bye-bye.